out there in Bucks County. Yeah, it's Bucks County Bytes coming to you. Yeah, I'm coming back at you. So today we got some really cool stuff going on. Not only was I so busy yesterday with Dr. Dane Donahue from 8 Weeks of Wellness, but I also had a man that talked to me about the situation with health and wellness in New York City and outside of New York City as well. There's so much going on up there with everything shutting down. I mean, the restaurants, the health industry, they're all closed down. New York City has become a ghost town. Brooklyn, Manhattan, it's really in really bad shape. So what happened is Anthony calls me. We met each other on this podcast group that we're on, and he's like, he wants to tell me the story. It is a hell of a story. So I will be definitely having that podcast up today along with Dr. Dane Donahue. So make sure you stay tuned for this. But the podcast I have coming on this morning is actually an accident that happened, because I'm on there in my Facebook groups and I'm looking at everything because I'm following Pines of Pink. Marianne and Keith, who are the ones in charge of Pines of Pink. It's a nonprofit. Brittany Brown is also behind that too. She's really doing a great job. And next thing you know, I'm looking around like, what is this? I have this benefit that's going on, actually from a group, a gym that's close by. It's called Training for Warriors in Doylestown. And they are just doing this wonderful thing. They're going to have this, competition. You're going to pay so much and then get into it. And the money is going to go to Pines of Pink. And I was like, you know what? That would be great to have on, because, we can do some promos on these guys, get it out there, get more people involved. I'll put all those links in there so everybody can contribute. His name is Mike Sobczak, and he is the owner of Training For Warriors of Doylestown. So they're going to be coming on, he will be actually coming on this morning to tell us the story of how it all began, how he got involved with Pines of Pink. And, it's this, I guess it's an annual Night of the Living Deadlift Event. And I thought that was so cool. So I'm really going to, get those podcasts out today. There's 3 I have to edit and get them up and published and live for everybody to hear. So I will let Mike take over and explain his story, how he got started into it, where he's from, give us the story of how he came about having this gym, the Training for Warriors at Doylestown. And I'm excited to meet people that are involved with Pines of Pink. It really means the world to the people of Bucks County and beyond. So I will let him go into the intro. He'll give you a talk of what's going on, how to get involved with this event, and we'll go from there. I've got a lot of editing to do today, but it will all be done. I have the cover art to do, editing and mixing, and then it gets published, and then it will all go into YouTube. I still have to do Grunge Puppy yet. They need to have their YouTube done, so I got a little bit, just a little bit behind. This reality of life is that things happen, and Hercules had surgery, so I really had to focus on taking care of him. We had a little bit of complications, not too much. He's starting to get a little restless, which is actually good, because Hercules has always been restless and barks, and he's very grumpy. So need to take care of those things. Life happens, but I will make sure everything is done today. In the meanwhile, everybody listen to a little bit of Shine Down, and we will be talking soon to Mr. Mike. All right, Bucks County Bytes is back. Yes, we are about to call Mr. Mike from this fantastic gym that I did not even know was here. I'm so excited that I found him. Mr. Mike Sobczak from Training for Warriors of Doylestown. I'm going to give him a call right now and let's hear the story. I am so excited to hear about this deadlift event that he's having on October 30th. So cool. All right, here we go. Let's give Mike a call.
Good morning.
Oh, good morning, Mr. Mike. How are you doing? This is Bucks County Bytes. It's Martha, the one that we accidentally just met each other yesterday. So, how are you doing this morning?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. I'm so happy that we kind of found each other by accident. I gave a little bit of an intro prior to the call, so I have to do all this editing and mixing, and it's very cool how it all turns out. But I was giving an intro, and I did a really quick Facebook post too that we were doing this call. So I am so excited to meet you and know that you have this fantastic gym that's literally minutes away from me. So I was just like, wait a minute, there's a gym there? I did not even know it. I'm like, oh my gosh, I could just walk there. So tell me all about yourself. Do an intro. Tell me about Training for Warriors of Doylestown, and give me the story of what you're about and what you're doing out there for everybody, you know, through the pandemic, you know, before, during, and how this event that you've got going for October 30th. So this is just so cool. It's so exciting. Just, yeah, go for it.
Yeah. So, you know, everybody knows me as Mike Subs. It's been a nickname that I've had since high school because my last name is actually Sobczak, but nobody could ever properly pronounce it. So I think for, you know, majority of my life, everybody thought that I had a name like Cher or like it was just everybody always called me Subs.
Okay.
So, you know, I'm originally from Jersey. I grew up in Morris County in a nice town called Roxbury. And wound up finding my way out to Bucks County to go to college at Del Val.
Okay, cool. You went to Del Val then?
Yeah, so I was there from 2003 to 2007. It was definitely, you know, very interesting for me to go to a farm school, even though my degree was in criminal justice.
That is interesting. That's a very much of a farm college. It's farm ag based, yes.
Yeah, I was very unaware of that.
That's good. Most people know.
Yeah, you know, I wound up staying there because of my college advisor.
Okay.
I thought he was just the coolest person ever. His name was Dr. David Whalen, and he was a retired Newark City cop.
Oh,
and,
wow.
Yeah, there was just something about him that I was just like, God, this is like...
That's really interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, and my stepfather's a retired cop too, so I was kind of like, you know, very interested in policing. And when I was ready to graduate from college, mm-hmm. I had actually already been accepted into the police academy. I was just waiting to get there, but
wow, it's so natural for you to be in school, and he was a retired police. That's interesting. You had that background of police officer and being that's great. Good.
Yeah.
Good.
So it was definitely, and what wound up happening was I was playing club lacrosse and I tore my ACL.
Ouch. Oh no.
So yeah, that injury pretty much took me out altogether, which is really where the whole fitness journey began, and because of that, that devastating thing happened, and where my whole life kind of changed.
Things happen for reasons, you know, Mike. There's sometimes things are meant to happen, we just don't see it then. So you got an injury, and of course now you can't go into the police academy.
Yeah, I was stuck, and I had to have this surgery. The surgeon's exact words were, the inside of your knee looks like chopped chicken.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah, so that was pretty hard for me to hear because I had been like dreaming of this moment, and went to a pretty dark place for a while, and just kind of did nothing but party and put issues
Yeah.
where they shouldn't have been, and found myself going out every night and drinking, and finally, like, I hit a point where I realized my weight had gone up to about 270 pounds.
And how tall are you?
5'8".
Wow, that's a lot
Yeah.
of weight for that frame. Yeah.
It was 10 pounds of stuff in a 2-pound bag.
Oh my gosh. Oh.
So wound up, I was walking up the stairs one day and I was out of breath, and I was like, I'm 24 years old. I should not feel like this.
Oh my gosh, you're only 24 too at the time, and you have packed that weight on at that.
Yeah.
Oh. Wow.
Yeah. And that was, it was, I hit that moment where I was like, I need to make a change. And I was so afraid to get back into fitness because I was so afraid I was going to tear my ACL again and have to go through that whole heartache again. And it took me a solid, 13 months to get at least back on a treadmill and walking.
Oh my goodness.
And a friend of mine at the time, she showed me this book, and she was like, listen, I really think you would like what this guy has to talk about. And his name was Martin Rooney, and the book was the first Training for Warriors book. And I was like, wow, this is interesting.
What year was that when that came out? So what year were you like introduced to this?
So my knee was torn. My recovery was probably 2008 to roughly, middle of 2009.
Okay.
And then, this was probably around 2010, 2011 now.
Okay.
So it was definitely a slow process.
Yes, it was a slow process for you.
And I read this, and there was something about the way that Martin had talked, like the way that and the book was very simple. It was just like, hey, this is how I train mixed martial arts fighters, and this is why we do strength training. But it was something about the way that it was presented to me. And I read the book, and at the back of the book was this 8-week program that you could follow, and I was like, oh, this is cool. This kind of helps give some structure. And did it, and I was like, wow, I lost weight.
Oh.
Wow, I feel a lot stronger. What happens if I start this whole 8-week program over again?
Yeah.
And I did. Lost more weight, got stronger. I was like,
gosh.
okay, I'm into this.
Your soul, this is working.
Yeah. And at the time, then he was actually releasing another book. And then I found out that you could become part of this Training for Warriors network, and you could become a coach. And I was like, wow, this is really cool. So the certificate, and this around this time, so now it's probably like 2012.
Yeah.
I had just met my wife. She was, I just met her at the time. I was feeling really good about myself physically. I was playing rugby with the Doylestown Rugby Club.
Oh, wow. That's great.
So I was definitely feeling like myself again. And I went up to this certification up in Fair Lawn in Jersey. And again, it was like, at this point I had like looked up Martin Rooney, and I was so fascinated with how he was, his word, eloquent with his words were, and how it was just so fascinating to me. It was like, it's not just about physical strength, it's about mental strength. It's about, working on the inside of yourself and developing yourself.
Oh, absolutely.
So I went up for the certification, and it was everything I could have ever wanted. And I credit that weekend course to learning more about fitness than, when I had taken my own personal trainer certification through ACE.
Oh wow, that's definitely a big change, and you can do something like that and learn from this man who put this book out. He has a belief, he followed it. It was a lifestyle, and that's
Yeah,
something that you really took to heart, and it helped your own life. Helped you lose weight, feel better, and you're coming back. And
yeah.
that changed your life. That weekend just changed your life.
I completely, like, I couldn't have said it any better. Like, that weekend changed my entire life and the
Yeah.
direction. And, that's where the whole, I then found out you could open like a location. I didn't have the finances at the time to do it.
Okay.
And it took me probably until about 2014 to finally be like, I need to open this.
Yeah, you knew in your heart you needed to do it. You believed in it. Yeah.
And at the time, and this is kind of what I was hinting at to you, where I was working at a behavioral health school, and I was there for 10 years. And throughout the years that I was working there, I was trying to build my dream gym. I was trying to build, follow this thing that had just lit a fire inside me so much that I needed to do whatever it took to open it and figure out a way.
Yeah, you believed in it so much that it helped you. You knew that it could help other people.
I believed in it so, and I still believe in it so much that, a couple years later, not even a couple years later, so probably 2015, I wound up getting our Coliseum logo tattooed on me.
Oh, is that what you did? Really? I was watching like the videos from your website and on your Facebook page, and I saw you had a bunch of tattoos. I have to look for that one specifically now.
I'll send you a good one, but I believe so much in the story of why the Coliseum is our logo, and it has nothing to do with the gladiatorial aspect. It's a deeper story behind it that we go into when we explain when everybody comes in and the history of TFW and why. But it's like, that's how much I believe in what we stand for.
Yeah, that's fantastic. That is great. Good to know. It's a real true belief. It's in your soul, it's in your blood, and for you to put that, you put that tattoo on you, and that's something you wholeheartedly believe in.
Yeah.
And when people see that, they know you mean business. You're there to help people.
And it kind of goes back. Yeah, and it goes back to one of the biggest driving into things in my life was my grandmother. And I'm gonna do. I'll be completely honest. I'm gonna try so hard not to get emotional over this part.
Well, it's okay. I have been emotional. I just recently had it was an addiction recovery rehab, and she's a good friend of mine over 20 years. She made me cry on the podcast. And this is real life. This is happening. Yeah. And if you get emotional, it's okay, because people do like to hear emotion come through the podcast. It's okay. You can cry.
So my grandmother passed away a couple of years ago, 94 years old.
Oh, so sorry.
She was the best. And I had the fortunate opportunity she lived with me my entire life.
Oh, she was that bonded to you. She was there with you.
So when I was younger, my mom divorced from my dad when I was young. And I have a great relationship with my father. I have a great relationship with my stepfather. I'm very fortunate. But my grandmother and my grandfather had lived with us my entire life. So if my mom was off doing something with her gift basket business or her catering business, my grandmother was the one who was, watching me and picking me up from school. And there it is. So we always called her Franny too.
Yeah.
And Franny was a pillar in the community that I grew up in. And she was such her and my grandfather and our family was an institution there. I mean, everybody knew a Tardivi. Everybody knew them. And my grandmother, yeah, my grandmother wound up helping bring the church that is there now. Like, her name is on the original document of.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so I found that out just before she passed. But like, my grandmother, Franny, was just so about the community and bringing people together. And I mean, she was doing Meals on Wheels when she was 70. And
what
she was doing
a woman.
She was doing it to people that were younger.
Oh my gosh. That's amazing to hear the story about your grandmother. Make me want to cry.
Yeah, so she was, you know, having that kind of instilled, you know, and I always wondered why the priests were always at our house. It was because Graham, like, was such a part of the community, and she was always putting her heart out there to help everybody. And it's just always been, you know, kind of a part of me.
Yeah, sounds like it. It really is.
So, like, me want to do everything that I've done since, you know, whether I was going to be a cop or whether I was going to pursue fitness like I did.
Right.
It was just always in me to help people out and bring out the best in people, whether it's over a cup of coffee or, you know, doing a couple sets of squats.
I like that. I like you get together and just bring people together in physical fitness, whether it's squats or coffee. And you need to make a logo like that. Squats or coffee. I like that.
And she, so when she passed, she left me a letter, and she said I couldn't open it until she died. And she had been telling me too that she had wanted me to do her eulogy. And this was all like really heavy stuff. Like, luckily she lived long enough to, she lived long enough to meet my son.
Oh no. Oh, it's tough. I know, it's okay.
And there were a couple scares along the way, and she definitely set new standards for hospice care because she was on and off it so much.
Jeez, so she actually went into hospice, but she came out of it too.
Oh, like 3 times.
She's tough. She's tough.
She was. I could get into a whole nother story about her. I'm gonna try not to, but I'll sum it up by saying they when Franny was younger, they had a priest had come to read her last rites because she was put into a arranged marriage.
Oh.
And it wasn't to the person who she loved.
Oh my gosh.
And she was dying because of a broken heart.
Oh my goodness. Oh, it's so hard. That's heartbreaking.
But when her Johnny came to the hospital, all of a sudden she got better, and her stubborn Italian parents recognized it. And
oh my gosh.
Yeah, so
wow. Wow.
Graham's been a big part of my life and helping me.
She was one amazing woman. I wish everybody could have met your grandmother. They don't make many women like her.
They don't.
It's like something, you know, like my grandparents, it sounds like my grandparents. They're not like that anymore. People aren't like that. You know, find somebody like you. They've learned from their grandparents, and they have that heart, and they have that gift, and that's what you have from her. So you have that life that she had. She believed, and she loved people, and she gave to the community. You're doing what she did. So you have that in her, and you're helping people just like she did way back when.
Yeah.
You have a gift of life, a gift of love, and you're continuing that she had given you. You're doing the same thing.
Yep.
She sounded like a beautiful and amazing woman. You're lucky to have your grandmother. And you'll have those memories forever. You'll treasure it forever.
I actually have, so in the card that she wrote me, it said, at the end of the card said, "I love you more." And she always said that to me. Anytime I left the house, anytime I came home, she would always say, "I love you more." And I wound up going to tattoo place, Cosmic Primate, down in, was it Hatboro? Of course, I've been out here for 20 years. I still don't know the towns. But anyway.
It's Hatboro in that area. I know.
Yeah, my guy Ray down there tattooed a cardinal on my forearm with Franny's handwriting from that card.
Oh my gosh, you got that tattoo? Oh.
Yeah,
wow.
So
that's very emotional. You have that on you. Yeah.
That's my constant reminder.
You have to send me a picture of that too. We may include, in fact we probably will. You'll send me these photos and I will include that in your YouTube, and we'll figure out what to do for that cover art. Maybe we'll use that.
So Franny was the reason I am today, and why I have such strong family ties and family expectations of just, I want to create a family, and that's what I encourage whenever anybody comes in. And I always tell everyone, it's a family here. It is truly a family. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, what you have made me, just so you know, you made me tear up. So I wasn't expecting it. I'm like, oh my gosh, here I go. You just made me cry. So yeah, that's emotional. And now I know that your gym, your fitness studio that you have is very family, and people that walk in there, they have you, and I can't imagine the strength of relationships that you have in your place. Just hearing you talk, I just, that's an amazing story.
I mean, I for me, where things kind of come full circle is, I spent the time when I was working at that behavioral school, I wound up, I was in a really bad place.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even the kids that I worked with that was causing that. It was the people that I worked for, because I was trying to come in on this note of just trying to help, these kids and help them work through their issues and just try to be there. And because I am such a passionate person, it was never, I wound up getting yelled at more than I got, appreciated for what I did.
You got yelled at?
Oh. All the time.
Oh no.
All there was, so in the last 3 years that I worked there, and my wife and I had been talking about this for a while at the time. So we're probably in 2017, 2018 at this point.
Yeah.
My gym has been, it had been open for almost 4 years now. I was definitely looking to the future, to how I wanted to progress the business and how I wanted to, how I wanted it to look, and where I wanted the position to be in the community. I kept telling my wife, Krista, hey, Luca's getting a little bit older now. This is my thought. I really need to get out of this place. I need to work at the gym full time. I don't know how much more I can take.
Yeah, you don't want to be in that kind of environment. It's not good.
It had become so toxic. I have no problem talking about this. I had to go seek help.
Mm-hmm.
I had to go. I had to. It was just, it was starting to leak into my life. and it was starting to leak into my marriage and into the business. And I was like, I need to get control of this. This was the, if 2008 was the physical challenge, 2017, 2018 was the mental challenge, that was the hard time. And because I had kept telling her, like, I need to get out of here. I need to get out of here.
It's too toxic. You can't do that to your body. It goes through, it's in you, then it projects out to the family, it projects out to your friends. That negativity that's around you, it just projects to everyone else. And you don't want that. It's devastating to life. So then I started thinking, like, well, maybe, like, the person that I taught, a therapist that I talked to, was like further affirming like my value. And I was like, okay, well, maybe if I just try to like show I'm worth more and I'm more valuable by doing more, they'll give me more stuff, and maybe I can transition out of this role. And I wound up chasing my tail more times than I'd like to admit. And finally, there was a point in 2019, probably 2018, because it's been 2 years now, where I was on the phone with an absentee supervisor and a brand new principal who had my back. And I threw my keys down and I went off on a tangent and basically said, I can't take this anymore, and I quit. That's good for you. I'm glad you quit. You got out of there.
I couldn't do it anymore. And I walked out of the building and I called my stepfather. I said, yo, do you want to go get lunch? And he said, aren't you at work? And I said, well, about that. And he was, 25 years working in a corrections facility. There were times he told me, working in a jail would have been easier than working where I worked.
Oh, it's horrible to know that it would have been worse.
Yeah.
It's tough to be in a correction. It is. It's tough to work in that situation, but with yours would be even worse than jail, correctional facility. Oh my gosh.
So
good you got out of there.
That was the moment. I worked the rest of the year or the rest of my contract, and life has been incredible and has been everything I've ever wanted since then, because I was trying to bring my enthusiasm and my, abilities to a place where it wasn't
accepted there.
It wasn't accepted. And I realized that just couldn't happen anymore. And
good for you.
And I talk to everybody so much because, which is what we do, in our facility, is motivation and inspiration and explaining to and I can speak to a lot of this stuff because I've gone through it, and it's just the struggle is where the strength comes from.
Exactly. You couldn't say it any better, because it's true. The struggle is where the strength comes from. People that have hit that rock bottom and really struggled, those people have succeeded well because they've been there. They've hit rock bottom. They've come back through. They struggled through it. And it makes them so strong. And to help other people, that's where it is. I see it in so many people. They have been down a bad path. They come out of it. They become so strong, and they're so strong they can help other people. And no matter what industry it could be, whether it's health and fitness or who knows, it could be another industry, they just do really well. And they help so many other people. And they guide them to the right direction. And then those people can go on and learn and help others. It's just like, it's like you're paying it forward. It's like a stepping stone. You're just continuing to help others so they can continue to help others in their life. It's a great feeling to do that.
Yep. And I believe so much that there's just, And again, it goes back to Franny. Like, there's so much negativity in the world that if I can be a positive person and I can be that person in the community that people know, like, if you ever sat down and had a cup of coffee with Mike, like, something's going to click after that, however long he sits there and talks with you, because I want everybody to recognize, like, their potential. You know, like, we're so caught up in a digital age now of, like, trying to live like the person on the other side of
so true.
And it's not like, I can sit and, you know, I can sit there and I can say, like, oh, that person's got a really nice car. I'm completely satisfied with my Jeep Wrangler.
Oh, you got a Jeep Wrangler now. You're cool. Yeah, you got a Jeep. You don't need anything fancy.
I don't need like,
no.
I don't need a big house. I don't, like, and I tell everybody all the time, like, Training for Warriors, like, it isn't just the place, it's the people.
Right.
It's the culture. It's the things that we do, and the things that we, you know, try to not replicate, but get people to replicate.
That is fantastic. I mean, your words are just, I'm in love with your place. I haven't even been there. I'm in love with the philosophy of what you do. It's really a good feeling.
Thank you.
I need more people to hear. I mean, that's why we're doing this, so more people can hear about what you have to offer there, because it's something that, you know, it said I didn't know, and I was looking at everything. I was like, oh, you have information out there, but it's just not getting seen. I don't think it's not getting seen enough. But that's why we're here. We're here to get you out there. And really, you have done something with this, with Pines of Pink, which was, you're doing these, I guess you're doing like a deadlift? Like a benefit?
Yeah, so, and that, you know, that's when things kind of come back too, is, for the last, so my bestie, I call her, my friend Alicia, who runs a TFW out in Huntington Beach, California. She has cancer.
Oh no!
And she has 4 girls, from, you know, middle school, from elementary to one's graduating high school this year. And kind of to, you know, try to make a long story short, before I met Keith, we were running a couple of charity events for Alicia and her family, because I felt like we could do something to help her out. And there's time before the pandemic, Alicia was out here, you know, every other month, going to treatments in Abramson, and then going up to New York to Mount Sinai, and just like trying to fight and just fight. And I then reached out to Keith last year and kind of told him, like, listen, I have this great friend, and I want to do more for the community. You know, what can I do to help? And every year, you know, we do, because we do strength training. You know, like, yeah, we have metabolic conditioning and cardio and whatever you want to call it. Like, we have a lot of cool stuff in the facility, but the coolest things that happen are the interactions and the actions that people have during their training. So, you know, we train the deadlift because nothing is cooler than watching somebody lift a bunch of weight that they've never lifted before, and the look on their face when they add the weight up.
Oh, it's an exhilarating feeling when you know you can lift that kind of weight. Yes.
So I told Keith, I was like, hey, we always do charity events. I want to do something with you guys, and I want to do it as often as I can. And I want all the money to go to you. And he was like a little, like, to the side. He was like, well, what do I have to do? And I was like, you don't have to do anything. I just need your blessing. So gosh. Keith gave me his blessing, and then I just started slapping all over social media, like, hey, we have this big deadlift event. come in, we'll teach you how to deadlift. Last year we did a trunk or treat. I think we had a fire truck. I don't remember because it was a year ago. But we had a trunk or treat in the parking lot for all the kids, and this big, like, I like to put on a show. And if I put on a show that I don't normally put on, I'm going to make it a spectacle. So, like, we have raffle baskets and just this big event. Everybody's wearing costumes, and Keith's outside with a table talking about Pine and Pink and everything. And I think we raised over $1,000 that night.
Okay, wow.
Which was just, again, the strength. All of us are stronger than one of us.
Oh yes, absolutely. That's great. I love that.
And all of us are smarter than just one of us. So when the pandemic hit, I had a plan to shift to Zoom. And as the pandemic hit, we moved 4 doors down from the smaller space in our current location down the way. So we were only in our new space for maybe 3 weeks.
Oh my gosh, you were there 3 weeks and then the pandemic hit?
And then the pandemic hit.
Oh my gosh, no.
At the time, my wife was in her 3rd trimester with the 2nd kid.
Oh no.
And I was like, oh my God. But I already knew what we were going to do, and I already explained to everybody this was the plan. And mind you, I'm like thinking like, okay, well, we had done 3 charity events in the last 3 months. And my big push this year was to do a charity event every month to help somebody out.
Oh no.
I didn't think that, here we were going to be months later. And I'm thinking, oh my God, what am I going to do about Pine to Pink and Night of the Living Deadlift?
Oh my gosh. I'm like, I'm wondering how you're doing this, because this situation is 7 months. We're 7 months into this. And you couldn't do a lot of these events because of the situation. So you had to switch over to doing kind of Zoom training, trying to do workouts.
The amazing thing that happened is the whole Training for Warriors network came together and offered Zoom classes to every single person's facility.
Oh,
so
that's interesting.
You could, and remember what I told you about family?
Yeah.
Like, we're a family. Like, I talk to as many of them as I can, and we all have these incredible relationships and know, intimate about each other and what makes us tick. And, it's not just like getting on a bike and looking at a TV. Like, we had the running joke where my one student kept going to train with the TFW in Scotland because of the guy's accent.
Huh. Wow.
So we had these Zoom classes that you could train with people in the TFW in Akureyri, Iceland.
Oh my gosh, Iceland.
You could go train with the Training for Warriors dojo in Minnesota.
Oh, that's amazing.
So we really, the depth of what we were doing was so amazing that, how we all had come together to keep everybody's spirits throughout this time was just
difficult to do. If you did that, more power to you. You were able to accomplish keeping people strong spiritually, mentally, and physically.
There was a point where I was really like, I was kind of like in a real deep contemplation, and I didn't know what was going to happen. And I'll never forget, my wife had said, "Hey, your parents are outside. They said they want to talk to you."
Huh.
And I go outside, and there's a 20+ caravan of cars of all of my members with signs that say, "We love you, Mike. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, that's so
we love TFW." And that was the I saw that, and I was like, I'm not stopping.
No.
I'm not stopping.
Don't
I'm going
stop.
harder. I have to do everything I can. And it was like something switched. And, you know, we came out of it, and we came out of it together. And, you know, we continue to do Zoom until we were allowed to open up again. And I'm still going to, you know, distances where we just changed the whole facility. We moved the turf to the middle of the room so everybody has more space.
Okay.
And more like definitions of things. We're doing, you know, more, I shouldn't even say more because we've been doing it anyway. But just constant check-ins, like figuring out how we're going to move through the winter, because maybe some people don't feel comfortable training inside still, and they have, you know, they enjoy it more outside. So it's definitely caused this pivot in how to think, but I believe has made me become a better person and a better coach and a better business owner, because I'm not trying to be reactive. I'm trying to continue to be proactive.
Right.
And it's just been incredible. And I told the beginning of the month, I emailed Keith and I was like, listen, this is what we're going to do. This is why. Are you okay with it? He kind of said, okay, you're the man. So what we're doing for Friday.
And that's next week, right? That's
October 30th.
Okay.
So what we've done is we've had to cap our classes anyway. And so we normally have 8 people in class. So what we're doing is we have 4 classes with 12 spots in each class.
Okay.
Everybody in class is going to have their own barbell.
They're going to have their own barbell. Wow.
Yes. So they're going to have their own barbell with a preset weight, whether it be 95 to 225 pounds. And the goal is to deadlift about 4 to 5 reps every minute on the minute for 31 minutes.
Holy smokes. Wow.
So the 31 minutes is to represent the 31 days in October and the 31 days that, you know, Keith has been pushing to get more people to, you know, recognize, you know, Breast Cancer Awareness Month and help, you know, local patients, and to push Pine to Pink, you know, further into the communities. So that's why
that's wonderful.
It's not just like a random thing. This is what we're going to do. And it's going to be tough, but we're going to do it together. And classes are going to be about 45 minutes in length. So when one class is done, myself, one of my coaches will clean the bars down while another coach gets the next class warmed up and ready to go. And we're going to run them, you know, at 4, 5, 6, and 7.
It's a lot of work to get done and to do it this way, but you're going to make it happen, and you'll
exactly.
do fun. You're going to do great because you have this great belief, and it's happening. I mean, like I said, I saw that, and we're going to try and get this done today. Then all this will get promoted right away, and we'll get those links in. I'm going to try. I have 4 episodes to do, but I'm going to get yours edited first and get it out right away.
Oh, thank you.
Well, I can get the other ones done because the other guy, 8 Weeks to Wellness, Dane, he's well known through the world. You know, we just wanted to get it out there because it's Bucks County and everybody knows him. So, and the other ones are not priority. So, but yours is priority because your event's coming up on the 30th, and it is Pines of Pink. And I have Pines of Pink coming on Monday. So they will be, Brittany, Keith, and Marianne will be on Monday to talk about what they do. So this is kind of great that this is going out there, and they're going to be aware of it. They're like, oh, she had him on. They're going to be like, wait, how'd that happen? But yeah, I really want to get it out there so people can register and be part of this event, so they can, you know, that money will go to Pines of Pink. And now they know about who you are, what your facility is about, and your story. And you have an incredible story to tell. I wasn't expecting all of it. Just sitting here listening to it, like you know, making me cry, and your grandmom, and what your philosophy and belief is. It's incredible to hear everything that's happened, and in actually a very short time.
Yeah. I've been, the last 10 years, if you really want to tie things down.
Yeah, it hasn't been a very long time. I mean, you can go back to the college days and everything that happened to you, but really after it all started coming together, it hasn't been many years. You've done a great job in a short amount of time. And I can see you even doing more as the years come along. And hopefully we don't have any more pandemics.
Yeah.
And hopefully the damn asteroid doesn't hit our Earth the night before election to make any more complications. But I can see it's going to be a great event, and all the proceeds will be going to Pines of Pink, and we will, have those links in there for those people that, maybe they can't get there, but maybe they can just send a donation into you. That's something that some people might be able to, do. Maybe they can't get there for whatever reason. Say, hey, here's money towards the event, but I can't be there. Make sure that gets to Pine to Pink.
Yeah, and that's where my one coach, I was laughing because she said to me last week, she goes, "Do you want me to take care of the raffles?" And I was like, "That would be fantastic." So she's said something about she's gonna display the raffle baskets in the window, and I think it's gonna be like a constant. I think throughout the week, it's like if people want to stop in and buy tickets for the raffle, they can put that in. And then we'll raffle them off probably via Facebook Live, Saturday after the event, or maybe Friday evening after the event.
Okay, that's what you're planning on doing. I was gonna say, because what can we do? When we put this pod together, they can. So I could put the Venmo in for you if they wanted to put money towards the raffle. Could they do that? Is that something that they could?
That's fine. Okay. That's fine. I mean, I'm kind of old school in the thought where it's I would much rather somebody come in with cash.
Oh, okay.
But if that's what, somebody, because again, I can only do I can do everything that I can do.
Right.
I cannot force somebody to do something that they don't want to do or they don't feel comfortable with. Mm-hmm. So if somebody, wants to figure out some kind of way to do something else, that's fine. I want everybody should know that. If I'm not there and one of my coaches are there, somebody will be there to help with whatever.
Okay, that sounds good. What we'll do is we'll put that information in there. They can stop by and buy those raffle tickets for the, they can do that, or they can attend the event, or they, maybe they physically can't get there, but they do want to help and they want to put something towards it. Then they can just Venmo you. There's multiple things they could do. Okay.
Yeah,
that sounds like a plan.
Again, even if 50 people came in through the door and just said, "Hey, I can't participate," we're asking for a minimum $10 donation to participate in the event. If 50 people walked into the door this week and just said, "Hey, here's $5, that's a good amount of money in a week. That's just going to help someone, with something, and give somebody some peace of mind. Every little bit helps.
Absolutely. Every little bit does help. And you're doing such a big part of helping the community. I mean, you've been here part of Bucks County for a long time, and we thank you. Everybody thanks you. I thank you for even coming on here and talking about everything you just did. And I was just happy to find you. What a great connection.
I'm very thankful for this. I mean, I was so excited, and I was, telling everybody, I've never done a podcast in my life, and I never thought.
You were not nervous a bit. You were great.
I don't get nervous when I speak about what I care about.
Oh, you did a fantastic job today. Let me tell you. When this gets done, you can share it. You can share it with your friends. I'll send you a soundbite, but they can, listen to it on Spotify, Apple, Stitcher, anything. It's on everything. You can listen to it on Amazon, and then it'll be on YouTube. So they'll be able to see the visuals, and they can hear the podcast at the same time. So you'll be able to share all that once it's done. And that's awesome. You'll be working out and training today and doing everything that you do great at. And I will send it off as soon as it finishes up.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Oh,
I
you're
appreciate
welcome.
everything.
You are awesome. Oh my gosh, I'm so overwhelmed to have you on my show, and so happy
Thank
that you
you.
can talk about everything. So I wish you a fantastic day, and train harder, and continue to help those people out there, and continue to support Pints of Pink. You've done a fantastic job, and much more to come.
Thank you so much.
Much more.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. You have a great one. We'll talk soon, okay?
All right. You too.
All right. Enjoy, Mike.
Bye-bye.
See you. Bye-bye. What a fantastic man. Mike, you did a fantastic job today on the podcast of Bucks County Bytes, and I welcome you back anytime to talk more about your accomplishments and how the people are training and making their accomplishments. I'm just so thrilled that we were able to connect, and all because of Pints of Pink. If I hadn't gone on there and I was looking at some things, and there was Mike and his wonderful Training for Warriors in Doylestown. And it's exciting. It's an exciting month. Everybody's helping everybody out with this the cancer drive, and making sure that people are being helped. The money, the sponsorships, everything out there. We're seeing that those cancer patients here in Bucks County and beyond are being helped. So everyone, I want you to have a great Saturday. I am going to run off here and get this edited and make sure it's published and get it out there. So everyone have a great weekend. We'll all talk soon. And remember, Monday, Pints of Pink is coming on board. So make sure you stay tuned. Remember to subscribe, to share, and to like our podcast. I will talk to you soon. Bucks County Bytes is over and out.